Hello, everybody, and welcome to the afternoon tune. I am your host, Josh, and I got a new special guest co-host with me today, Iris. Hello, Iris. How are you?
Hello. Hello, it's very nice to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Yes, it's great for you to be here. Thanks for helping me out. Iris is joining me today to review my new obsession, Interview with the Vampire. I know I've heard about this show, heard a lot of good things about this show, and people talking about it. So I finally got a chance to see it. I binged season one, which is on because it's on Netflix right now. But if people wanted to watch season one and two, which is both out right now, people can watch it on AMC. I just didn't want to get another streaming service there to watch Interview with the Vampire season two. Even though there are other methods you could probably do that, but I just think, yeah, so many streaming services out there right now. And I was just like, yeah, I'll just maybe we'll just wait for it to come season two to come to Netflix when that happens. So Iris, have you seen both season one and season two?
Yeah, I've watched both of them in one sitting actually. Like I
Oh,
haven't watched season one while it was airing, so I'm a bit of a like I joined the party late, I guess. I watched both seasons about like 2 months ago in one sitting in like one crazy weekend, and I was really fascinated by it.
yes. Are you a fan of the books there?
Oh, I have read them when I was in high school, but I never finished it because as like the first book is about from like Louis' perspective, and it's kind of interesting because it kind of like invites you to this like the vampires world, and you kind of get a general idea about how things work. And the second book is about vampire Lestat, and it's kind of like from the Lestat's point of view. But then the books kind of get crazy, like aliens get involved and there's like Atlantis stuff happening. It kind of goes insane after a while, so I haven't really finished all of the books. I think I read only the first three books.
Okay. And I know AMC, so they're doing the Anne Rice universe as I guess what they're doing. So they're doing the Vampire Chronicles plus the Mayfair Witches as well. So that's another one of Anne Rice's books. Are you do you watch the Mayfair Witches as well?
No, like I was curious about it at first, but I never really found the time to watch it. And vampires, I find vampires more fascinating than witches, so I never really had a chance to watch it.
Okay. Nice. Yeah. Did you want to tell people a little bit about yourself? I don't know if you're a content creator yourself a little bit or anything you
Yeah,
wanted to
sure.
say.
I'm doing my master's in clinical psychology. Right now, I'm in Istanbul on like an Erasmus exchange program, writing my thesis. And I think maybe because of like my clinical psychology background, it's like the characters are very interesting to me, especially like their relationship dynamics and like their past traumas affecting their current relationships and the decisions that they make. So, like from a pure like psychological point of view, I think they did like a really good job of showing how your childhood traumas or like your relationship with your parents, even if you're like 100 years old vampire, it continues to affect your behaviors and affect your relationship with your significant other. So I find that part really fascinating as well.
Yeah. And you do see that in a lot of media. I think maybe I don't know if it's relatively new, but it feels like I'm seeing more of it in media now more than ever as far as generational trauma that being passed on. Movies like Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Yeah.
Uh, movies like, well, I guess this isn't too much of generational trauma, but Turning Red. I mean, that was just more of an overbearing parent, not really,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah. But
gener-
I think you're like very you're right because I also see it more and more in the media as well. Like for example, with Everything Everywhere All at Once, like you said, it's not exactly like generational trauma, but it's still like how the relationship between the mother and her daughter affects daughter's relationship with her girlfriend and her like perspective as well. So yeah, I think that's a very good observation.
Yeah. So I feel like, yeah, it's starting to occur more in media about that, there. I guess because you do have a little bit more millennials, now entering filmmaking and that, kinda coming
Yeah,
into the
and
fray.
their lives are so different than their parents. So there's like a I don't know, like disagreement between generations as well. Like the life millennials are leading right now are very different than the ones they observed their parents were leading. So I think that's also, like you said, like, and they're starting to have like real life jobs, like in the media and such. So they have more opportunities to show their experiences and share it with the world.
Yeah. Are you a big media consumer yourself? Movies, shows, music, anything like that?
Yeah, I think so. Like with the music, it's more of a like became like a background thing for me. Listening music, like I'm usually listen to it while I'm writing my thesis or like doing research. But with media, yeah, I think I kind of at one point like joined all like signed up for all the streaming services, and I like whenever I show see a show is being talked about, I actually make like an effort to watch it. So yeah, I think I do consume. Maybe I consume too much media.
Yeah. Would you say Interview with the Vampire is your kinda new obsession, your new favorite thing right now that you've binged?
Oh, well, definitely. It's kind of taken over my brain, to be honest. Like maybe if I watched it when the first season came out, I wouldn't be so like I don't know, under the influence of it. But after like binge watching this 2 seasons all at once, it kind of like I don't know, became big part. Like I can't stop talking about it. Like I'm recommending it to my friends. I'm like on. I'm very active on Twitter as well. So I don't know, like when it will pass. I think usually, like when I'm obsessed with a show, it takes like for a few months for that like excitement to die down. But I'm still like very excited about it.
Mm, okay. Well, that's what we're gonna be getting into. So we're only gonna do season 1 because that's I've only seen season 1 as of now. So that's what we're gonna be
Oh,
reviewing.
okay. So no spoilers for you for season two.
Yes, no spoilers there for season 2 there for me.
I will be careful.
And after this stream, so it won't be too long of a stream, about just 30 minutes there probably. And then I'm gonna be raiding somebody after this. I see Angin Plays he's on, so I'm gonna give him a raid after this. And then I do have another stream upcoming. I'm gonna be streaming this Sunday. I'm gonna be with some other special guests coming on. We're gonna be doing a review of the Mr. McMahon, the Netflix documentary there, and also the new Netflix show, The Queen of Villains. So a big wrestling show, theme show. I'm gonna have Sunday.
Hmm.
And then Monday, I'm going to be joined by another special guest there, Sage from Rated M for Immaturity. We're going to be reviewing Hunter x Hunter there. And we're also going to be giving our thoughts on State of Play, which is the big gaming a news announcement conference there. And also Uzumaki, the anime that's coming out, the new anime that premiered this week. So yeah, so we got a good stuff there. Wednesday, I don't have anything planned, but Friday, I am also going to be streaming. We're going to be doing Joker 2 and reviewing Megalopolis and The Wild Robots. Gonna be doing that for Friday. So yeah, got a good amount of streams. Oh, there's like I think I hear myself on your end.
Really? Can
Okay.
you still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh,
Yeah,
perfect.
it's
Okay.
all good now. Oh, right. Let's get into this. So, our first and only review of the day is going to be for the television series Interview with the Vampire. Now, people might remember Interview with the Vampire for being the movie, being very famous for starring Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise, which actually this year would be its 30th year anniversary, actually, of that film. Have you seen the film Interview with the Vampire there,
Yeah,
Iris?
I have, and I actually seen it when I was like 11 years old, which I probably shouldn't have. Like I watched it in secret. My parents like didn't want me to see it, but I was kind of like enamored by Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise, so it was kind of like I was in love with them both. But I like even at that age, like I wasn't like 11 years old, but I think it was like a very easy movie to follow. Like it wasn't like it didn't I think delve into very complicated concepts. And after like I watched it years later, like when I was in my early 20s, and I still wasn't as impressed as I was as the rest of the world seemed to be. So I'm not really like I can't say I disliked the movie, but I'm not like a really huge fan of it. They kind of steered away from the queer relationship between Louis and Lestat, and at the time it would be like too scandalous, I think, to make it like two of the biggest movie stars. Maybe they couldn't have an on-screen kiss at the time, but I think they kind of like picked the easy way out, and it wasn't as impactful as it could have been. So I'm not like a really huge fan of the movie, honestly.
Okay, interesting. I've seen this movie. It's been a very long time since I've seen Interview with the
Mhm.
Vampires. I haven't seen it very well. It makes me interested to wanna go kinda watch it again after seeing the show.
Yeah, I think yeah, definitely. I really think you should because it's really changes your perspective of it.
Mm, yeah, and like I said, this was, I knew, I watched this, yeah, very kinda early on. I think I was a teenager when I watched it. Yeah, big stars in this. I mean, it had Brad Pitt, it had Tom Cruise, who were big stars. It also had a very, very young Kristen Dunst in it, who was Claudia
Oh,
in it.
she was perfect. I think she might be the best thing that came out of that movie, really.
And you also had, I believe also Antonio Banderas also was, in this as well. He was also in the film. So yeah, you had a stacked cast, of, people in this movie. So yeah. Oh, I think I hear it still. I hear myself on your end there.
Oh, really? Should I?
Yeah. Yeah. And so the movie had a very, very stacked cast there, with the film. So now they've done a television adaptation of Interview with the Vampire, and AMC, they said they're doing basically this is the Anne Rice universe they're doing, that they're gonna do the Vampire Chronicles, then plus they're gonna do they're also doing the Mayfair Witches, and it's all kinda gonna be connected there. So that's where you can watch this show, on AMC. That's where it's, airing. But it also where I watched it is on Netflix, so you can also check it out there. The very first season is on Netflix of Interview with the Vampire, but if you want to see the second season, you would have to watch it on AMC and subscribe to the AMC Plus or whatever their streaming platform service is called there. Yeah, AMC Plus there, with their streaming platform. So what is Interview with the Vampire about? So the series, much like with the movie and with the book, it chronicling two different periods of time. You see a future timeline, you see the future where it's Louis, who is doing an interview with somebody, and he's talking about his life, and he's describing his life to this interviewer. And when he's telling him about his life, it flashes back to back at his time in New Orleans, in Louisiana, before he got turned into a vampire, and then his eventually getting turned into a vampire by the vampire Lestat, here. And so in this show version, you have Jacob Anderson who's playing Louis. People might know Jacob Anderson. He was Grey Worm in Game of Thrones. People might recognize him for that. And then Sam Reed plays Lestat there. Now, I haven't not seen this actor before, but looking at his resume, he's been in quite a bit of things there, but I have not seen this actor before. Iris, you being a person who's seen the book, I mean, you've read the books, you've seen the show, you've seen the movie. How
Mhm.
well do you think that these two lead actors do well at portraying Lestat and Louis there?
Well, they're simply like spectacular, like really really fantastic. Especially Lestat. I think it's a very difficult role to take on because like people have certain expectations. It's such an iconic character. Like the book starts with Louis' interview, so one might think like Louis is the protagonist, like the main character, but actually Lestat has such a strong presence and to have the ability to like show all of his conflicting emotions, and like he lives his emotions in extremes, like whether it's like sadness or lust or happiness or joy, like he shows them in extreme, and to be able to do that as an actor I think is very difficult. So Sam Reed, and I also, by the way, I haven't heard of him before that show as well. I think he is Lestat. Like I think this is the common consensus among the fans of the book and the movie as well. Like he is Lestat. If Anne Rice was alive, I think she would just like fall in love with this actor because he like he channels the character so well. And Jacob Anderson as well. I think like his portrayal of Louis is a bit more nuanced, more like layer. There are like more layers to it. It's more of like a silent performance because Louis is someone who spent his life like suppressing his feelings, like whether it's that like he's gay and he cannot tell this about this to his family, and like he can't show his anger the same way the Lestat does. Like he has to suppress his emotions. So it's I think more of a like a layered silent performance, and I think he does it like very elegantly and like in a very delicate way. So I think like those two actors, like I don't think if the show would be the same without them. Really, it's like great casting. I don't know if they give awards for casting, but I think whoever found those two actors and casted them in this role, they deserve an award. They're really amazing.
Yes. And with Anne Rice, she did have heavy involvement in the development of the show right before she passed away. She passed away a few years ago. She passed away in December 2021. So yes, Anne Rice did. But before she did pass away, she did have a lot of involvement with the show. And it's interesting, Iris, you're also very involved with the fan base of this show. And some people might go like, with the race change of this, Louis is now being played by a black actor. Um, what was kind of the reaction to that from the fan base there, the race change? That's the case for Louis and also Claudia. What was kind of the reaction there?
I think most people were really excited about it because like Louis in the books is a bit of a like okay, it is his interview, but he's kind of like a background character, like a just a narrator who tells these stories. But when they did this like race change both for Claudia and Louis, it's like created an interracial dynamic on the top of the already interesting like relationship dynamic. So I think it's also amazing to see New Orleans in 1920s from like a black character's point of view, because New Orleans in 1920s was like a very difficult place to be a black gay man, and I think that part of the show is like also very well represented and shown as well. But what's interesting is also like when Lestat turns Louis into a vampire, he just assumes that like it will solve all of his problems. Like he will be strong, he will be fast, like he will be like a predator. But the funny thing is like it doesn't change anything for Louis, because he still has to live in that society, and he still have to like, face the everyday racism. Like people, even though he's a vampire, people still act like the same around him. So I think that's also one of the kind of like the arguments or the controversy points between Louis and Lestat. Like that's one of their major arguments that they're having. It doesn't change how society sees them, and I think the show also has like a uh, makes an effort to show how it affects Louis as well.
Mm, yeah. And Claudia in this is played by Bailey Bass, who I'm looking at her resume. I did not know she was the one of the characters in Avatar. She was one of those. I did not know that.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was also surprised as well. Like I was so impressed with her performance that I checked her IMDb as well, and I was surprised as well.
Yeah, so she plays, one of the, aliens in, the Na'vi there in Avatar, so I did not know that, okay. Yeah, and with this, because in the books, I know, and then also they show that in the movie that Claudia is supposed to be about, what, 12, 14, and then,
Oh no, like six or seven.
oh, 6 or 7. Oh, okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
she's a really little kid in the books, like 6 or 7 years old.
Ah, okay, and then in the show, they have it where she's, like, 18. Was that a problem
Uh,
at all for you?
No, not at all. I think they made the right call because, like, it would be very difficult to work with a 6-year-old child, like, considering like how much blood is there, like, and how much violence is there. And also, I think like as like at the show, she's 14 years old, and it's kind of like a teenager age, and I think she has more like turbulent emotions, which makes it for a better like story, better narrative. And basically, she's frozen in time, so she's frozen at the body of a 14-year-old, which I don't think any of us would want to be frozen at age 14. It's like a really, really ugly age to be in. Like your body is changing, your like thoughts are like you have stormy thoughts, and you have all these like changes happening to you, both physically and mentally. So I think they did the right choice. They made the right choice because it's adds so much to her character. I was really happy that they aged her up because it's like the actress herself can also do more with the role.
Mm. And, in the movie, Kristen Dunst, she was 11 years old when she,
Yeah,
started.
I knew that.
Yeah.
She's so talented though. Like I think it was her first big break, and
Mm.
like she was acting against like Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt as like an 11-year-old girl. It's like such a huge responsibility, and I think she was fantastic.
Yeah, she was really good in that. Yeah, she was really great. So yeah, with the show, um, Interview, with the Vampire here, I really do like the vampirism is almost 3rd in everything else, or 4th when it comes to the show as far as what makes it interesting. It's the element of the race. It's the element of, as you mentioned before, the generational trauma. It's the element of this relationship between Louis and Lestat, how he lures Louis into this life of being a vampire. and their dynamic throughout the show. And then when they include Claudia, that adds another kind of mix to things as well. And yeah, I mean the vampirism, the them just being cool, sexy vampires is like, that's really not the most interesting thing about this show. It's the characters and how they relate to each other and the relationships throughout the that you see throughout the show here. What's kind of your perspective there?
I think one of the things that they did really well, like this, the show has like a really strong writers' room, and I think one of the first conflicts they had to show in the show that like Louis doesn't want to kill humans, like he has this like hesitation to drink blood, and for Lestat, it's like a very central part of his identity. Like he sees himself as a predator, and when Louis refuses to drink from humans, like refuses to kill humans, Lestat kind of sees that as Louis' refusal of Lestat himself. Like he takes that very personally. So like that's kind of like a breaking point in their relationship, and they have this like big argument about it. And then when the Claudia comes in, it's kind of like a bandage for a marriage that's almost about to go down. And Claudia is actually more similar to Lestat than Lestat would like to admit. Like she also has that like predators, uh, like I don't know, like she's more okay with killing and drinking blood and everything. So I think like they show this conflict and this like the um, ethical conversations that they have between them. I think it's like a result of like some really good writing, and they ask some really good questions about what does it mean to be a vampire, what does it mean to be a monster, and how can you like do that and have like a healthy happy relationship or like a healthy happy family. In the fandom, like they have this photos of like three of them as together, like they're all like in blood and drinking. Like can they be like a functional family and still like go around and killing people and stuff? So I think this is also one of the themes that they really tackle beautifully, and it's I don't know, like one of the main conflicts in the show as well. And I think it's what makes it interesting, because you're basically watching like really complicated, really dark characters trying to be happy together, trying to build some sort of very like dysfunctional family. And I think like when people talk about love, they talk about love as this like healthy thing between two normal people, but you know, like monsters fall in love too, like dysfunctional toxic people fall in love too. And I think it adds a very interesting layer, and it opens like lots of interesting conversations.
Yeah. And that's a perfect, analogy you gave there of like, it's like a Band-Aid, what people do when they have children in a marriage there, and they try to have a child to kind of fix it, it's like, well, we'll put all of our love into maybe the child there, and maybe that will repair things. And then during the course, you see throughout when he's telling this story, it takes course over the decades they're doing this, because I think initially it starts out in 1910, and then it kind of, yeah, it goes throughout these decades there while they're living there. And you also see that, kinda with the show, it kinda going back and forth, like, it's able to tell really this story really well because sometimes with these streaming services, it seems like the new model is just to do 8 episodes now, or they'll do maybe 6 or 5 or something like this. Now this has
I hate
7
that
ep
so much.
Oh, we say?
I hate that so much. Like it used to be like 15 at least or 20, and now it's like 6 episodes every 3 years. I hate that.
Yeah. So it kind of gets reduced here with streaming services now, but and usually I kind of don't like it because it rushes to a finale when you have such little episodes and everything has to get thrown in place and everything like that. But this only has 7, and these are fully 1 hour plus episodes with this. Uh, it's able to really tell the story, and the pacing of it is really strong. I was interested to see what was going to happen the next episode. I don't feel like the finale here in season 1 was rushed at all, or they had to rush to the finale to hurry up and cobble everything together to make it work. I think they perfectly laid out everything with it. And then with the show, compared to the movie, and what a show sometimes is able to do better than maybe a movie in some cases is that it's able to really flesh out a lot more things, expand the relationships a lot more. And then I think it does that here, you know what I mean, as opposed to what happened in the movie because yeah, with the show, you're able to really expand more in the dynamic between Louis and Lestat. And I read the book interview. I've only read the first book Interview with the Vampire. Read it a long time ago, like about as long as I watched the movie. And then they said the show, so it expands on those queer elements that maybe were in the book, and it fully makes them into a relationship. So in the book, is it still kind of very coy as to whether or not Lestat or Louis are in a relationship, or is it like they are in a very full-fledged relationship there?
In the book, at the time Anne Rice wrote it, I think she wasn't able to like very clearly say that it was romantic, so it was at the first like a bit implied. But their relationship was also like not very like it wasn't rushed in the book as well. Like it kind of built up, like they meet and like fall in love, and like Louis turns into a vampire. It's like all very um like it's the script, like it's very descriptive, and like and Rice certainly takes her time like uh telling about their emotions and like how they feel about each other, etc. But it wasn't as explicit as it is in the show. It's I think it's closer to the movie in that sense. Like you cannot kind of understand that it's implied that they're in a romantic relationship, but it wasn't like very as obvious as it is in the show.
Mm, okay, interesting. Um, Yeah, and when you really, when Louis talking about his relationship with Lestat, it feels like somewhat of a battered spouse. You know what I mean? I mean, he's talking to this that clip where he's talking to the interviewer, and the interviewer here, very journeyman actor Eric Bogusain there, very journeyman actor, character actor, been in tons of stuff before. This is the actor right here, and he's talking about the time that Lestat and him had a big argument, and then it led into a fight. And then, of course, this is a vampire fight here, so they're knocking each other against walls, and they're destroying furniture here. They're doing all this stuff, very supernatural things. And Lestat, I mean, he's so much stronger than Louis because he's so much older, and that's typically in vampire lore. Usually, the older a vampire is, the more stronger and powerful the vampire is. And yeah, I mean, Lestat just almost kills Louis in a sense there. I mean, he completely just destroys him there, drops him. He flies up in the sky and just drops him there. Um, and of course, the interview he's trying to talk to him about it is like, that's horrible. But he's like, well, is anybody the sum of their worst moments? Um, so he's still trying to, kind of that love there that he has for him, and then how Lestat, even after that, tries, works his way back into Louis and Claudia's life after that incident. There, what's kind of your opinion on that?
Oh, I was shocked when I watched that episode because in the books it doesn't happen, and I'm not sure if I'm allowed to give like book spoilers, but in the book, like Armand actually does that to Lestat. Like Armand shows Lestat out of a tower and breaks every bone in Lestat's body. That's like happens in the books, and I was like, I didn't really like that how they changed it for the TV show because it was such a brutal scene that made like they changed the entire essence of the character of Lestat. I feel like the Lestat in the books would never do that because he just like simply loves Lee so much, like he wouldn't be able to like bear he wouldn't bear to like hurt him that much. So it was quite a shock. At first, like I've watched it, I think like they did it for the shock effect, and I wasn't very happy with it. And the second time I watched it, like during my rewatch, I still wasn't happy about it, but I kind of understand that like why they did it because I think it's like even though physically Louis is fine, it was like still like part of him died that day. I think it was like something they needed to happen so that like the next stage of their relationship, like the turbulent nature of their relationship, can be more like obvious to the watchers of the show. I guess. I guess I'm still not like 100% happy about it because I think it's like such a big change from the books. Like for example, aging up Claudia was like a minor change that had like a positive effect, but I think it was kind of like a change of the essence of a character. Like most of the fandom, I think, also feels the same way. Like especially people who read the books are saying like that never would have happened. Like the Lestat in the books would never do that. But like from a narration standpoint of view, or like to have the shock effect on the viewer, I kind of understand that, but I'm still not very happy about it.
Okay. So is Lestat typically portrayed as somebody who's just emotionally and verbally abusive and not physically abusive?
Yeah, in the book it's kind of like that. He has like, I don't know, he gets angry very easily and he's impulsive as well. That's also underlined as well. But he's also like very insanely in love with Louis. And in the books you see like the soft side of him more. Like in the TV show it's more like you see their arguments and you see their like fighting, but in the book you also get to see their like these softer moments between them as well. And there's like not an instance in the books that like he's physically violent, like more maybe like emotionally abusive or like more controlling maybe, but nothing physical at all. So I don't know, like it was like when I was watching it, it was like quite a shock to me. Like I never saw that coming. I thought like, when sometimes in TV shows they do something shocking and it's like, oh, it's a dream, or like, oh, it was like a hallucination or whatever. Like part of me was like when is he going to wake up? It's a dream, right? And then it wasn't a dream, and I was really annoyed by that.
And then I think the 3rd season I read, it's planned that it's gonna be based on the book The Vampire Lestat. It's gonna be the 3rd
True.
season, the plan for that. And then do you know if so is this show planning to do all of the books there in her Vampire Chronicles, or is it, gonna
I
stop at a certain point and then they're gonna do another
I
series about
think
another set of books?
yeah. Like I think that's the plan because from what I heard, like AMC really invested a lot of money and resources into it. Like like you said, they bought the copyrights for the entire like Anne Rice universe. So I think they're just going to go through the books one by one. But like I said, like I don't know if it's like the fifth book or the sixth book, but at some point it goes crazy. Like Lestat meets Jesus and goes to Atlantis and meets aliens, and it's like really like I don't know, it's like too insane for my taste. I'm sure there are like fans of those books as well, but it just goes a bit like off the rails. So I don't know if they will be able to do that as well, or like it will be very difficult to adapt. I think. So I'm not sure how far they will go, but I think they will at least like right now planning to go as far as Queen of the Damned. That's the third book, I think. Yeah. So I think probably at least like 2 or 3 more seasons if if they can keep get the funding from the channel. I think they're planning for like 3 more seasons, I think.
Yeah. So, yeah, you're right. Yeah, The Queen of the Dam is the 3rd book in it, and The Vampire Lestat is the 2nd book.
Mm.
So yeah. So I don't know if they yeah, I'm gonna go all the way there. So does Lestat turn Jesus out? Do they start a gay relationship or something like that? Is that what
Like
happens?
I haven't read that book, but from what I like saw on the online, he kind of like drinks his blood and then like like likes him, I guess, like not in a way that attracted to him, but like likes him, I think, and then drinks his blood and then it makes him stronger and something like that. Like I very vaguely remember, but even talking about to you right now, it feels like a fever dream. Like I was like, what were you thinking, Anne? Like why?
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I wonder if if they will get kind of crazy with that. I know AMC was really big for a moment like 2010s because they had a lot of hit shows that everybody wanted to see.
Yeah,
They had
Madman is one of my favorite shows.
Yeah, Mad Men was huge. They had Breaking
Mm.
Bad, Walking Dead when it was very early on before they started doing like 50 spinoffs of Walking Dead, like that one first
They
that
are
hit
really
big.
milking that. They're really milking milking that.
Yeah, which I think that show Walking Dead, I think it's still going on, isn't it? I think it is.
Yeah, it has like you said, like 3 or 4 spin-offs. I think one in New York, one in Paris, one like teenager Walking Dead. Like they're teenagers fighting zombies. It's like crazy.
Yeah, so and they also had Better Call Saul. When Better Call Saul ended, that people felt like that was the end of the era of like the classic AMC that people really loved and all those shows kind of there. They had those hits. And yeah, people kind of I guess drifted away from the channel for a minute there after that. But I mean, hey, if they keep doing the spinoffs of Walking, I think those are still pretty popular. So I guess people are still watching that. I guess
Yeah,
there.
yeah, I think so.
Because I mean, there will always be three certainties in life: taxes, death, and people will always love zombies. So zombies will
True,
always be.
that's true.
Uh,
That's
and
true.
same
Like
thing. Oh, go ahead.
yeah, that genre it never dies down. Like it will never die down.
Yeah, and that could be also said about vampires as well. People really love vampires. There's always vampire media and something. Um,
Mm. Especially with Halloween coming up right around the corner, it's like one of the most sold out Halloween costumes, like are vampire costumes, like every year. It's like no matter how many new costumes you make, like it's a classic.
Yeah, and even they reference a vampire movie in the show that is coming out. They're doing a remake of it this year. Nosferatu, they're doing a remake of it this year. It's coming out in December, I believe. They're doing.
Yeah, yeah, I'm really excited about that. It's Robert Eggers, I think. I might be misremembering his name.
Yep,
It's
Robert Eggers. Robert
yeah,
Eggers.
yeah.
Yep.
It's I think it's going to be great.
And so with that kind of brings me back to Interview with the Vampire. Vampire media. Also, I think that was also maybe 2010s, maybe with the Twilight stuff kind of going on. Vampire media felt like it was everywhere, it was very oversaturated. Do you feel like, with Interview with the Vampire, it's more of a breath of fresh air? Because it feels like I haven't really seen vampires much in media recently. I feel like shows, movies wise. Maybe I'm missing something. I feel like there's been a good amount of break between vampire stuff. What's your thoughts
Yeah, definitely, definitely. I think that, like you said, like Twilight was the last one that's made like a huge cultural impact, and it was like I don't know, like vampires were like shining in the sun or something. It was weird. And then like there was like a really sometime that they didn't really have like a huge impact. Like I think there were like few shows like Vampire Diaries and like
there?
the originals and stuff like that, but they didn't really have like any like cultural impact to speak
True
of.
Blood. There was True Blood was really
A
big
True
for a little.
Blood, yeah, yeah, I remember that as well, yeah. But I think with this show, I think they are like showing it with all its like ugliness and like violence. Like if you remember the first episode, like with the priests in the church, like it's quite gory. It's quite like explicit. So I'm really happy that the show is embracing that part of the vampires being like I don't know, like basically monsters. Like they're killing and they're drinking blood and they are living such long lives that maybe human lives have no value to them or like it's more like it doesn't shy away from like the more like philosophical or like ethical questions that comes with this creatures. So yeah, I think it's kind of filling a gap in the market, so to speak. Like there hasn't been like a proper vampire show in such a long time, so I think I really hope it reaches more audiences, really.
Yeah. Are you more of a vampire person or werewolf person? You more vampire?
Oh, definitely, definitely vampire. Like I love dogs, I love wolves, but
Mm,
vampires are more fascinating to me.
okay. Yeah. Yeah, and yeah, with the show, I mean, as good as it is, the performances are outstanding. With later towards the season, when it gets into a kind of a intellectual match between Claudia and Lestat, that is really good because they're starting to battle for Louis and his affection and his love, and he has to, they want him to kind of pick between the two. That is really great, and there's a great scene where they're having a chess match, and you see that Lestat and Claudia play chess constantly. Uh, throughout the season, and then there comes towards I think the penultimate episode where she ends up beating him in chess there, and he completely just kind of freaks out. I got the clip right here. Really good performance here. I mean, and the arguments also between everyone is also really amazing. Let me play this clip right here.
Wait. No, it can be. The secret is Louis.
Also, by the way, the vampires can telepathically communicate with each other. The only rule is that if the person's your maker, you can't read their mind. But yeah, they have that there. Do you think that the powers in kind of the Anne Rice vampire? Do you think they have too many powers to do different things?
Yeah, like when Lestat started flying, I was a bit like, wait, what? And then he can also like move objects with his mind and like make fire as well. And it's like maybe too OP. I don't know. Like at some point, I started to think they might have made them too strong.
Yeah, because like he can do that thing like if you ever watch the X-Men movies, he can do the Charles Xavier thing where he can like
Yeah,
freeze everybody in the room and things like that.
like few
Yeah.
X-Men combined in one. Like too many X-Men powers in one person. Like movie, I think also it's not a spoiler, by the way. Please, like, don't worry about it. I'm not going to spoil anything because I know you haven't watched season two. But in the there was like a little teaser for season three, and in that season three trailer, Lestat can manipulate technological objects like a camera. Makes a camera zoom in and zoom out, and that was also like a quite a shock as well. Like to have like it's kind of like a
Mm.
Eric from X Men power, maybe I'm not sure yet, but that was also quite a surprise to me.
Yeah. Yeah, they vampires have a lot of powers, as you see there. But
It's like actually, I can't believe I'm such a huge chess fan, and I love playing chess. And the game they're playing here is called it's like an Italian game known as Lucchini Gambit. It's like a very like I don't know. It's like if you Google the name, the Lucchini Gambit, it actually gives lots of like between the lines information about the relationship between Claudia and Lestat. So it's not like a random game. It's like a known game among the chess community.
okay, interesting. Thank you for that insight. Thank
Yeah, just a little tidbit.
On one side, Rook on the other.
You want to kill him too, and you will enjoy doing it.
You have won.
I'm tired.
I finished the game.
I think I'm gonna go to bed.
Move your pawn, finish the game.
Good night, Lestat. Good night, Louis.
She was right.
Spoiled, selfish, thankless,
It was inevitable.
heedless, disagreeable, obnoxious, repellent, unkind, loyal to the core. Oh, fuck, come on,
Every ship that sails the sea.
And I love when they freak out in French.
Yeah, when they get angry, it's just like switch to French.
But that's a really good scene there. I like that a lot. Because I mean, she's a very very brand new vampire, and she's trying to best Lestat who's been lived. I think I don't know how long they say he's been alive. I think a few hundred years. I think it was.
Yeah, I think at the show, in season 1, he's 189 years old,
Okay. Yeah.
almost like 200, almost 2 centuries.
Okay. Yeah. So I mean, and yeah, you see that with that of like just the back and forth, and almost like Louis is, stuck in the middle. It's constant arguing and bickering between the three of them, and what's trying to figure out what's the best situation for them and how they're going to work together. With Claudia, do you think Claudia was also doing a little bit of manipulation with Louis as well, like with Lestat, or
Yeah, so in the like I don't know if we will see these same like the events from Lestat's perspective in season 3, because it will be like Lestat narrating season 3, so maybe we can see like his point of view as well. But in the books, there is like we can also read like Claudia's parts as well in the book, and there's a part in there that Claudia says that like she chose Louis because Louis was easier to manipulate, and she says that like if I tried this with Lestat, like if I tried to eliminate Louis, like Lestat would never go for it because I cannot manipulate him the same way that I do Louis. Like Louis is more naive and easy to control, like something like that. That's like a whole paragraph of Claudia talking about it. So I think she is, but I also don't think she's doing it out of malice. I think she's just like a teenager trying to break free, and like her body is basically frozen at that like rebellious stage, and like she sees Lestat as this like not exactly like a threat, but someone that's the kind of like a gate guardian or like a warden that's like keeping them from like discovering the world or meeting other vampires, like this controlling mother figure perhaps. So and it's actually like because Lestat turned Claudia, she's like she calls him Uncle Les, but actually the role Lestat's role in Claudia's life is more of like that of a mother, and like by turning Claudia, he basically like gave birth to her. Like turning can be like a metaphor for giving birth. So I think Lestat is this like controlling mother figure in Claudia's life, and I think like she's like a teenager trying to break free.
Mm. Yeah, because like she's stuck at that perpetual age there.
Rebellious age, exactly. Like the age where you hate your parents and you're like, I hate you. Like I hope you die.
And you see all those emotions, all those feelings, the hormones all at the peak at that age, and then it's even
Yeah, just
amplified.
frozen. Yeah.
Yeah, and amplified with the vampire ability there. And she does a really Bailey Bass does a really good job as well, acting off of the both of them, and then there's some great scenes. The scene on the train, where
Oh
he goes,
yeah, that was insane.
yeah, Lestat goes to retrieve her. That's really good. The actor Sam Reed, his ability to go from being intimidating and then charming and then scary. It's just his ability to kind of switch between all those different emotions. And then even in the chess scene, you see he can be have these blow up moments there. If he can lose his cool, and rein that kind of in there.
Yeah,
That's all really.
exactly. And I think it's like as a like it also as an audience it keeps you on your toes as well. Like you're always watching Lestat, like wondering, oh, what's he gonna do next? Like what is he gonna do next? So I think it also keeps us on our toes as audience as well, I think.
Mm, yeah, which I very much appreciated there. I don't know if this has been nominated for anything awards, performance wise, there, but I could definitely see it for some of these people. I don't know if it has enough attention.
Fortunately, no. Like every year, like on Twitter, it's like, oh, they have been like there's this discourse going that oh they have been robbed, like they haven't been nominated for any Emmys. I think like season one was maybe they were just like trying to find their footing, but I think season two should definitely yeah, it should have been nominated for a few Emmys at least. I think.
Yeah. Do you think season 2 is better than season 1?
Oh, for sure, like 100%, definitely. I think you're going to love it.
Okay. So yeah. So what would be your final thoughts and rating for season 1 Interview with the Vampire? What's your favorite episode from season 1 of Interview?
My favorite one, I think, is the last one, the final episode, because there's so many like plot points that you never see coming. Like there are like twists and turns, and there's like so much at stake. And as someone who read the book, I know that they go through with their plan. I'm not allowed to give spoilers, right? I cannot say what the plan is. Can I say it?
For Yeah, for season 1, yeah, she can go.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Perfect. So, okay, I was just trying to be vague as possible. So, like, there's this like tension. Like, you are wondering, like, oh, will they go with their plan to kill him? Like, part of you maybe wants Claudia and Louis to break free, but you also don't want Lestat to die. But like, he's also this complicated, controlling character. But it's like you're feeling all these emotions, and especially at the end, like Louis hugs Lestat like while the blood is like bursting through his throat, like dying, and then like Louis gives this like primal cry of like screaming like with pain. So you're also feeling for Louis as well. So it's like too many conflicting emotions, like lots of plot twists, especially with what was Antoinette? Yeah, the Antoinette coming as well, and you find out that Lestat knew about this plot to kill him all along, and then like he just went with it, and all those like revelations. I think I think it's a very thrilling episode. I think it's very like I don't know, like I watched it at the edge of my seat. So I think the final episode would be my favorite. And like as a final thought, I think you should like go to, like if you haven't read the books, I think you should just go to it like blindly. Like you shouldn't read any of the reviews or like comments or anything. You should just like press play and then watch the whole thing in one sitting. I think it's a quite a journey.
Mm. And so our rating scale, so the highest you can give something is this is cinema. Below that is a peak. Below that is a tune in. Then it's a stream it. Uh, and then the very lowest you can give something is waste of fucking film. And then after that, burn it. Then after that is either a skip it or tune out. So what would you give on our rating scale? What would you give Interview with the Vampire?
What was the highest one?
This is cinema.
Oh, okay, not that much. The other one?
The one below that is peak.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, that one for sure. But
Okay.
I should tell you, like there are certain episodes in season two that I would like, not the entire season two, but certain episodes in season two that I would give this a cinema rating. But season one is the peak one, I think, the peak rating.
Okay. Yes, I think I would also give Interview with the Vampire, the first season, a peak as well. I think the way it kind of engages, it like really engages the viewer there. I was on the edge of my seat. I was waiting for the next episode to see what's going to happen. The evolution of the relationship between Louis and Lestat is very interesting to see how kind of, how things kind of turn bad for them. And then also the addition of Claudia and how that adds a new dynamic to things. And, how you're much very taken in by these actors, by Sam Reed as Lestat, and you think he's going to be a better person, you think he's going to maybe change, and then he doesn't. So, like I said, he's able to flip between those emotions very well. Jacob Anderson, I saw him on Game of Thrones. That's kind of my only exposure to the actor. I'm good. He's getting some other stuff. He had a very limited role in Game of Thrones because that show had like 80 gazillion people on that show. Um, but here he's able to also really flex his stuff and show he's also a very phenomenal actor and he's really good in this. I like what he does and like his journey there as Louis and can't wait to see more of him in season 2. Claudia Bailey Bass. She's also a show stealer. There, I can't wait to see more of what she does in her career and her future. Of able, yeah, where she kind of comes in and kind of play off the two of them, and then how she, like I said, creates this new dynamic between the two, and being this child in this relationship here, in this marriage, and kind of being brought in, and like I said, she's very rebellious kind of nature, and how she kind of resents Lestat there in a way, and resents Louis there even to a degree. Oh yeah, go ahead because
I think it's also like one of the most difficult things for her as an actress to do. Like she has to play a 40, like she has to pretend to be someone who is actually 40 years old, because by the time the season one wraps up, she's actually like has been alive for 40 years, but she still has to play as someone who is stuck in a 14-year-old body. Like so she has to play a 45-year-old woman stuck in 14-year-old body, and I think it just goes to show how talented she is.
yeah, yeah, she's really good. Yeah, I like her. Yeah, quite a bit there. So yeah, I enjoy watching that. I get what people have talked about this show so much. I'll definitely when season two maybe comes on Netflix, I'll definitely be checking it out. By then, I don't know when season three is supposed to come out. I think that's supposed to maybe 2026. Maybe. Do you have any idea when
Well,
season three?
yeah, they I checked their website and they're going to start shooting in November. So I think 2025 fall, I think, or early 2026, but possibly like if they start shooting this November, we can watch it in a year, I think maybe like next November or next December.
Okay. Well, when that happens, probably season two will be dropped on Netflix by then, and I would love to have you back again to discuss
I would,
season
I would,
two.
I would love that as well.
Yeah. So two peaks for Interview with the Vampire. People can watch it on AMC Plus or on Netflix the first season. Yeah. Thank you so much, Iris.
Thank you so much. You are an amazing, amazing interviewer. Really, it's like a rare talent these days, I think. So you're fantastic.
Oh, thank you so much. Maybe I should be interviewing vampires then.
You should,
Uh,
yeah, you should be interviewing vampires.
Maybe I should be doing that. I'm gonna send you all over to, and thank you very much, Terry Thompson. Thanks for the lurk, man. We're gonna be back Sunday. I'm gonna be with some people. We're gonna be reviewing Mr. McMahon, a Netflix documentary. I'm gonna be doing also a review for the Queen of Villains, which is another Netflix thing there, Netflix show. Yeah, I'm gonna send you Kara Fly. She is dyeing her hair, it looks like, and playing League of Legends. That's what she looks like she's doing. All right. Thank you again, Iris. Thank you again to Terry Thompson.
You're welcome.
Uh,
Have a nice day. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Stay tuned, everybody. Take care.